want to share this morning. I'm seeing more and more and more and more. In fact, I've seen this for a long time, but now I'm doing what I do. It's kind of, I'm tuned into it now. So I talk about clients, customers. I can't get builders and trades to get back to me. I can't get builders and trades to give me a quote that I want. I can't get a response. I'm giving them all the information and there's nothing coming back. They're too busy, or they're ignoring me, or they won't pick up the phone, or whatever that is. And likewise, only Kev. And likewise the other way around. We see trades saying that clients aren't getting back to them, they're ghosting them, all these things. Now, I'm sure, I hope I'm not on my own with this, by the way. I'm sure that you've been on a blind date before, or you've been on a dating site and then read an advert and decided, yeah, I'll jump on that. I'll give that person, him or her, a call. And we'll take it from there. But then you meet up and the ad wasn't really what you thought it was, or the person didn't really look like what you thought they would. Maybe took one of them filters, put some filters on it, and it wasn't what it first appeared. So then that relationship doesn't go anywhere. We have a first date and we kind of politely walk away and never to be seen again. And this is the same thing with builders trades. And there is no right or wrong answer here. You know, this is all relationships. Just building relationships, same as the dating site. We're either going to move forward with that relationship or we're not. And it's the same with the builder and client, trades and client. There's no answer here. There's no right or wrong. There's no secret sauce. There's no way of getting a builder or trade to get back to you. You might just have, turned up at the house, seen you and thought, fuck that, I ain't working for this guy. This guy's going to be a nightmare. And same with the trades, when trades come back. Trades may come back with a quote, they may turn up in a scratty van, get out and all the crisp packets fly out, loads of admin on the dash, and you think, this guy's unorganised, I'm not hiring him. That's okay. You've gone with that gut feeling, and you've took the what you should do. You've gone with it. You felt it not felt right here, so not gone forward, and that's okay too. Well, I guess what I'm saying this morning is there is no right or wrong way. There's no secret sauce. There's no formula. There's no nothing. There's no way of making them get back to you. There's no way of making a client get back to you. There's no way of making a trades or builder get back to you. Sometimes it's just not going to be right. Sometimes it's just not going to work. Sometimes you get a bad feeling about someone, and that's okay too. What I will say is, if that is you, go back to the person and tell them that. If you're the client and you've had a builder around that's turned up in a scratty van, that's turned up in and all the admin on the dash, and they just don't look the part, you don't feel right, tell them that. Just pick up the phone, have the courage to tell them that. And that's okay. Ghosting's not. Same the other way. If your builders and trades turn up to client's house and you think, this guy is going to be an absolute nightmare. He's going to nitpick absolutely everything. He's not going to pay me. He's already talking about stretching payment terms. You don't think he can afford it. These are things that make make trades and builders walk away. These types of things. Now, if that's you, tell them that. Be honest. Have the courage to tell that client exactly that. I do that. No thanks, mate. You're not for me. I don't think we're going to be a fit. And it's over. No one's waiting around. No one's getting pissed off. No one's going on social media saying that all builders and trades are wankers because they aren't getting back to them. Stop working for free. I am talking to property investors this morning. Property investors working for free. What do I mean? The number of people that come through our training in order to make more profit from our refurbishment projects. Property investors in the main. We do get tradesmen and builders that come through it as well, but the property investors that come through that aren't allocating their time to the project, they're not costing themselves into that project. Now, if you don't do that, you're working for free. If you don't take a wage, take some income from the project and not the profit, you're working for free. Now, who's doing that? Who works for free? Mental. See this with tradesmen as well. This used to be me, by the way. I see this with tradesmen, where someone doesn't turn up, or someone lets us down and we jump on the trial but don't charge our time back to the project, which is also mental. Stop working for free. Make sure that you're charging your time accordingly for what you're worth onto the project and not the profit. This one thing alone will transform your project's profits. And here's why. Because for me, this is the common thing that I hear. I'm not going to pay a project manager to run that project. I'll just do it myself. I'm not going to pay a site manager. I'll just do it myself. I'll do that bit myself. That bit is a skill. I'm not doing the rip out. I'm not going to pay someone to do the rip out. I'll do it myself. But they're not paying themselves for doing that piece of work. So they think they've made a saving, but they haven't. Because you've got two questions to ask yourself when this happens. Number one, what would it cost me to get someone else to do this? And then follow that up with number two. Morning. What could I earn doing what I do best elsewhere? Answer those two questions yourself, and you will see your project's profits transform immediately from day one. Doing shit that we're okay at to save money, which doesn't save money, is madness. That's like me trying to do the legals on my own to save on solicitors' fees. Sourcing's another great one. Spending all my time searching for properties when I can pay a sourcer. I don't want to get into the debate of whether sources are good or not, or whether they bring good deals or not, or whatever. You get the point. The point being, I would rather pay someone, a professional, to do me a stand-up job in a period and manage that than try and do it myself and not take any wages from doing it. So stop working for free, is my message to you this morning. I see it so often. I even see people try and do their own drawings. Pay the architect the 400 quid to do your floor plans, 500 quid or whatever it's going to be for that particular job. What could you do instead of doing that, wasting that time? What could you do better elsewhere to earn more money than that? It's a really simple calculation. Do work it out, but stop working for free is my message this morning. So if you want to make more profit from your refurbishment projects, do this one thing. Letting go of control. Let go of control that you have on your business and your delivery capability and service. This came yesterday, was talking yesterday in my highest level training group about this very thing. About sometimes when we set out on a project, on a mission, on a build, on a development, whatever that is, we are firmly of the belief as a business owner, particularly that you're the best at everything and no one can do it as good as you. Who's been there? Me. I've been there. When I first started out, I'm a brickie by trade. I used to do the brickwork, and then rather than get a plasterer in, I plaster it myself. It took me twice as long and it won't be as good. But I think I've saved money. Whereas what I should have done is carried on doing the brickwork and bring in a plasterer. And it took me ages to get a grip of this, get my head around this. I liken this in my own business. When I first set up my training business, I believed I was the best at everything. No one could do it as good as me. No one could do it like me. But here's the truth. When you take on a staff member and they don't perform to your expectations, consider, did you train them well enough? Did you show them what you wanted to do well enough? Did you invest enough time into that person in order for them to pick up the reins? When I first set up the training company, it was just me, and I did everything. Like everything, from writing the emails to doing this very thing now. Doing the teaching. Hoovering up the office. I did everything. But then to bring someone in, like months later, and you truly do realise that you aren't the best at everything. You're not the be-all and end-all, you're not the answer to everything. And to relinquish that control, to drop that I'm the best attitude is very liberating indeed. And in fact, Paris my assistant, is off today and tomorrow. And I'm at the point now where if she ain't coming in, I don't want to go in. So to grow that team will make you more profit. I didn't really have a point this morning other than that. So often we think, oh, I'm the only person that can do this. Just me. I'll make more money if I do it myself. So far from the truth. So if you want to make more profit, do grow that team. But the right team, of course. And free up your time to do what you are an expert at. Free up your time to do what you're best at. Going back to my days on the trowel, I was best at bricklaying. So I can just lay more bricks and earn more profit that way and pay for the plasterer to be plastering whilst I'm laying bricks. I get the trepidation, I get the fear of bringing someone new in. Totally. I've been there as well. I'm not growing, I can't afford someone's wages. Too expensive. Now, if you see growing your team as a cost, you're going to lose. You've got to see growing your team as an investment. Growing your team and having them processes, procedures and systems in place in order for them to do what it is that you want them to do for you or with you is game-changing stuff. Trades and builders, I apologise in advance. I did think long and hard as to whether to share this. And you know what? Fuck it, I will. And it's up to you, trades and builders, whether you do this or not. But I'm speaking to property investors this morning and how you can best manage those extras that pop up on jobs, those extras that appear on jobs. And this one piece of language, which I'll share in a second, is going to save you thousands over the rest of your career. Now, as I said earlier, the trades and builders will have fell foul of this. They also will still be doing it. I still do it. I do it as a client and I also do it as a builder as well. And the thing I want to share is when something crops up, it may well be an unforeseen. Something could crop up that you forgot to include when you made your initial inquiry. A great example of that is, can you plaster these walls? But then you latterly decide that you want to take the coving down. This is a good example. And we then go and ask for that extra. Now, the way in which you ask is what's going to save you the money. And here's my tip for you. Once again, trades and builders, I make no apologies for this. I do it. I'm victim of it. I'll fall foul of it. But that said, the help I'm not trying to share this morning is for property investors so that they can make more profit from their refurbishment projects. And this is the thing. So when we come across those things, stop asking for prices. And that might sound counterintuitive. It might sound a bit like it's not going to work. Trust me that it does. This has a threshold though. You know, you're not going to get sort of thousands of pounds extras for free. This has a threshold and you want to be trying to understand where that sits. So when you come across something that crops up, that little extra, that little thing, don't ask for a price. Use the good old can you just, which all us trades and builders love. So I'll go back to the coving analogy. Plasterer comes in, what do you want me to do with this coving? Or can you just take it down? Yep, no problem. That's what's generally going to happen. However, if the plasterer comes in, what do you want me to do with this coving? And you say, can you give me a price to take it down? Guess what? You're going to get a price. You'll get a price if you ask for a price. And once again, I make no apologies, and I did think twice about posting this, but do you know what? Fuck it. I'm speaking to property investors to make more profit from their refurbishment projects, and so therefore, this is my tip for you this morning. And apply this across the board. Apply this across the board when it comes to those things that crop up or things that transpire as extra. Another great one, we did a roof the one time. A client did this to me. This is the one time that I fell for this when I was in the builder's capacity. We was up there doing the roof, and whilst the scaffold was up, whilst the roof was up, whilst the lads were up, he provided some guttering. And he came along and said, while you're there, could you just bang that guttering on? And we did it and never charged him for that. Now, can you imagine the same conversation? He comes with the guttering and says, how much will it be to bang this in, to change this over? It might now be 50 quid, 100 quid or whatever that is. So do think about how you ask, and that one thing over the rest of your career or the rest of your property investment journey will compound into thousands and thousands of pounds just using that. I guarantee it. It will happen. I know that because I know that it's cost me that over the years as I look back. I also know that I've spent that in paying for stuff that I could have just got on a Can You Just. We had it was a meeting last Wednesday, I think it was. Excuse me. Yeah, last Wednesday. And this particular client was appointing us as her builder, as her main contractor. And as we started talking, it quickly became apparent that this potential client didn't know the difference between the two things I'm about to share with you. And you must know this, and now I've seen this, now I heard this from this particular client, I'm seeing it more and more on, I'm seeing other people use this terminology incorrectly. I just want you to understand the difference between the two, because this is really important from a legal perspective and from a production standpoint also. So when you are appointing people for your projects, excuse me, the old Fitbit's come off, I don't want to lose any steps. When you're appointing personnel for your project, whether you go individual trades or whether you go for a one-stop shop approach, you go to a principal, wrong, when you go to a main contractor, someone like me that organises all the work, fulfills a project management role maybe. You may hire a project manager, or you may hire a construction company that employs all those trades under one roof. So you're going to a one-stop shop service, we'll call it. Now, what you must not get confused with is that service you're buying just there does not necessarily mean that is a principal contractor. The two things are totally different. Now, a principal contractor is merely a CDM appointment. Now, CDM standing for the Construction Design and Management Regulations, the latest version being 215. Within there are certain appointments that have to be made, that must be made from a legal standpoint. Principal contractor is one of them. That is not necessarily going to be your one-stop shop builder, although it can be, and most 9 times out of 10 it is. You've just got to know that they are different. So your project manager, your one-stop builder is one-stop shop construction company is one thing, and your principal contractor is entirely another. And if you do not appoint your principal contractor, if you don't make that appointment formally, then you as the client by default become it. And you must understand that. So if you do not appoint a principal contractor legally, in writing, formally, then you become it. You, the client, by default become the principal contractor. You assume that role. I'm talking to property investors now, commercial clients. So a failure to appoint is to appoint yourself. That's my wife's quote, I love that. So a failure to appoint is to appoint yourself. If you don't make that appointment of principal contractor, then you become it, that is you. And that comes with a whole host of legalities and responsibilities that will be imposed upon you if you don't do this. So please get the two things separated. Not separated, because it could well be the same person, but just know that both appointments have to be made. Speaking to trades and builders this morning, I see more and more, this followed the conversation I've had in the gym this morning, but what I see more and more if you're in the property investment space, this is, and I guess this applies to domestic customers as well, but if you're in the property investment space in particular, you can be the best tradesman, the best builder on this planet. But if your levels of communication are shit, that's what you'll be remembered for. I see so many posts when someone is asking for a builder recommendation or something like that, and it usually goes like this: did me a great job, but he was a fucking nightmare to get hold of. Did me a great job, but you try to get him on the phone, he's a nightmare. Did a great job, but he never picks up the phone. That's the thing that you're remembered for. That's the second part of that sentence. Cracking project, you didn't keep me updated. So if you're a trade and builder listening to this, and you work in the property investment space, when I say that, I mean when you're working for people that are looking to generate more profit from their refurbishment projects, then improve this one thing. Improve this one thing. It came off the back of a conversation I've had this morning with a guy due to start on site yesterday. And he didn't show up. He didn't turn up, this guy. And I saw him this morning, and it was, oh, where was you yesterday, mate? Oh, I text the site manager and let him know. Now, the site manager never got this message, so he's made an assumption now that this guy is chucked it, he's jacked it. He's actually going there today. But the site manager didn't know this. And it's really easy to jump to them conclusions when your levels of communication are poor. It's not just phone calls. In my business, we run reporting procedures, so to keep investors and clients up to date. That's done weekly. So if there's any change to a program that particular week, we'll communicate it through a reporting procedure that we have, not just photos on WhatsApp. One of my pet hates. Ping, 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 load of pictures that don't mean out. Anyway, I'm digressing. So yeah, improve that one thing. Improve your levels of communication, and your reputation alone will grow astronomically just from that. The last place you want to be is builder and trades, is clients chasing you. Clients chasing you for information, for start dates, where you are, why aren't you there, that stuff. I'm talking to deal sources, deal packages today. I see somebody sent me direct a what they call an investor pack to ask if I wanted to buy this particular deal off this guy. This was yesterday, and the numbers that came across, I have started having a bit of sport with these people when I spot it. Now, this particular deal, I spotted it immediately. So the numbers were the end value was 100,000 and the purchase price was 60,000, and the refurb was the magic 20 grand. So on the face of that, we've got a purchase price of 60,000, 20 to spend, taking us to the 80, and a revaluation or sale price of 100 at the end. So on paper, once again, take out all the fees and tax and everything else. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how these deals get presented by sources. And I knew it was bullshit. I can just tell a mile away when it's bullshit, and this one was. So my very first question back to this particular sourcer was, and if this is you listening, please, I'm not calling you out here, this is for your education. This was, the question I asked back was, the 20k refurb price that you've put to that, what did you base that on? How have you worked that out? The first answer was, it was my gut feeling, to which I challenged, obviously. Gut feeling, what do you mean gut feeling? What does that mean? And then I think they realised, he's spotted this, he's calling this out. And so therefore a quick recant and a list of tasks that magically came to 20k. What's happened here is this particular deal sourcer, and I see this a mile off, and if this is you, stop doing it, stop bullshitting, no one buys it. It is a fucking crazy approach, and you're going to come unstuck. Not only will you lose credibility, reputation, you're going to lose everything by presenting these deals when it all goes Pete Tom. So what's happening is, the guys found, the first thing that they've found is the end value. That's the first thing that they've looked for. So they've established a purchase price of 60, and then they've established that the end value is going to be 100. And then they've made the refurb number fit the ideology of the deal. I spot that a mile away. They've made the ideology of the refurb fit the deal. So that refurb cost has come from nowhere other than something that is just come from here because it fits the deal. It does not work that way. It doesn't work that way for two reasons. And I'm not just talking now for people that may lose their shirt and spend more. This particular deal, you may well spend less. If there's been no science and no thought behind going into that refurb cost, you could not only underestimate, but you could also overestimate it. And people miss this. Let's say that refurb should have only been 9k, because when we've just put a gut feeling to it, what does it mean? It means fuck all. So we have to put some science behind that refurb number. Now you want to start learning how to make this refurb number, you need to come work with me. If that is something that you need to do, this is me calling out to you and offering my services to you. Can you afford to carry on guessing like this, deal sources? This is now property investors. Can you afford to keep going out there and just shooting numbers from thin air, throwing them into deal packs, and firing them over to investors like that? It is absolute madness. You cannot do it, especially given what's happening in the market just now. Tradesmen becoming so rare and unavailable because there's so much work out there. Material prices on the increase. Waiting times, because everybody's so busy. People not taking cognizance. I know I'd get that phrase in, I love that. It means recognising for the scaffolders. Taking cognizance of time. We've got to add that prelim period into it. So all of them things all form part of your build cost. Stop using the number that is the ideology that fits the deal. It doesn't work that way. A, you could be overspending, and B, you could be underestimating. Either of those things are very dangerous places to be. You need to have, there needs to be something behind that. There's only one way to price up refurbishment work, and that's to price up the refurbishment work. That sounds really corny and cheesy. It's one of mine, and I like it. So that's where we're staying. Oh, taking a builder on a property viewing has to be the worst advice I've ever seen on the internet, ever. People in the property space that are looking for support with getting their build costs right, their refurbishment costs correct. And that's the advice that I see. Make sure you take a builder on your viewing. That's the worst advice I've ever heard. Here's why. As the client, as the property investor, rarely do you know why the builder is there. You don't know the purpose of it. Now, if you're taking that builder on the viewing in an advisory capacity, then, you know, it could be worthwhile. But what I see property investors do is take the builder on a viewing and expect a price whilst they're there, or a steer on the costs of what things are going to be. It's bad advice because it's a wrong person to take. Really bad advice. Until that builder that you're taking has a clear spec from you, a clear program of works in terms of time and how long you expect that thing to take, your exit strategy, what you're going to do with the property, what the layout is going to be, all of that, anything he tells you on that viewing is fucking worthless. It doesn't mean anything at all because you haven't gave him any direction. It's also the wrong person to take because a builder is a builder. The builder's not necessarily going to know what the cost or what the state of the electrics are, what the state of the gas is. All of the other stuff outside of their skill set, outside of their area of expertise, unless you're taking somebody with that area of expertise, of course, and you aren't going to know that until you get on viewing. So I guess what the message this morning is A, if you can find an accommodating builder that's not busy, that's not absolutely flat out just now, to go on a viewing with you for free as well is the other advice that I see, then you got to know why they're there. By all means, ask someone to accompany you for advice, for maybe some little steers on their area of expertise. Not there to price up work because it cannot be done. And any number that you get whilst on a viewing with a builder without a spec, program, exit strategy, and what you're going to do with it, layout, drawings, etc., does not mean a thing. I can go on any viewing with any investor and just shoot any number at him or her whilst I'm there in order to A, either win the work, or B, just walk away because this guy's going to be a nightmare. And I can make that decision right there and then. So it's really, really, really bad advice. Do not do it. If you want to invest some money in taking someone on a viewing, then I would take either an estimator, a quantity surveyor, a project manager, a construction business owner, not just a builder, a one-man band with a van. Yes, that person may well have the skills, knowledge and experience to price up the work, but you've got to know why they're there. So please, quit with the guru advice of take a builder on your viewing if you want work pricing up, because it's utter horseshit without that information. You've got to have that information. If you don't have it, there's nothing for him to price. It's just guesswork. And we don't want to be entering into a multi-thousand-pounds deal on guesswork. Well, I don't anyway. You may well do. You may well want that risk. I do not. And hopefully that you don't. I want to talk to you this morning about how an estate agent has potentially, how an estate agent has just potentially cost my client 20k. I just want to share the story with you, really. And what happened was this particular guy had a full house refurbishment done. Morning, Graham. Full house refurbishment completed by us. And during that process, during the work, the floors, the ground floor floors were on the wonk, significantly on the wonk, on the piss, not level. We advised, the client knew this, but we went to do the rip out. We ripped everything out, and we gone back to him and said, "There's nothing wrong with the timbers as such. The joint, they are sound. They don't need treating. They're not rotten. They're not broken. They're just not level. But they need to come out and be replaced if you want them to be level." There was no other way of doing it. So what he did next was he sought advice from the wrong person. So he's gone to the estate agent and presented our quote to the estate agent. And the estate agent has said, don't worry about it. All the houses around here are like that. People expect it, so just leave them. So he thinks to himself, great, I'm going to leave that. I'll leave that in place. I'll save myself this money. Our quote for this particular piece of work off the top of my head was just over £7,000 to have all this replaced. So he's gone away safe in the mind that he thinks that he's done the right thing here. He's took the estate agent's advice and he's gone away and proceeded with the project. We're putting everything in that we've put in's gone on the piss. The radiators look wonky. The kitchen plinths look wonky. The doors the gap under the doors is wrong because the floor's out. The door still needs to open, if that makes sense, and it can't because of the slopey floor. And it's just, yes, it adds character, but for me, it wasn't quite right. The client was happy with it in anyway. He monitored the process throughout, and he was kind of happy that he was going to get this character feel to this property. Now, the estate agent has come back to him at the end of the project and said, yeah, let's get this on the market. He's then gone for revaluation, and the value has come out, and he won't lend on it. So the value has come out and said, we can't lend on this. We're not prepared to put any borrowing on it. And so you need to get these floors sorted before we'll even consider it. He believed it to be subsidence, and he wasn't taking the client's explanation for this wonky floor as a given. So what he did next was he came back to us and said, I need you to do that work now. Expecting to get it for still the £7,000. Now, bear in mind that what's happened since that initial quotation's gone in is it had a basement as well, this property. So the basement had been boarded, insulated and skimmed. All the services and utilities are run now between the old joists, so all the gas, water, electrics, waste are all inside of there. He's had a tiled floor in the hallway, he's had laminate throughout, there's a stud wall gone up, the new kitchen's in, the new flooring's been laid, new skirting boards, new plastering, carpets and laminate as well. So for us to now do that work, it's now going to be over £20,000 for the same piece of work, for exactly the same piece of work. Now, we've kind of said, look, you know, this is going to not only cost you a lot more money, it's going to disrupt your plan for this project for the year. Now, he can rent it in its current state, and the agent's told him that and got him a tenant lined up. But his problem now is the valuation process to get his money back out of the deal. That's a huge problem for him, just because he took the advice of the wrong person. We've gone to him at the beginning of this thing and said, look, you need to take these out. This floor needs to be straightened up. But the estate agent told him that he didn't, and that's what he wanted to hear. So because he wanted to hear that, he didn't need to spend this £7,000, he's took that advice on board and not done that work. And now he's stuck. He's stuck with this property. He's still sat on a bridge as well, by the way, still sat on bridging finance. Can't get lending on it, so he can't exit the bridge. He's in real trouble now just because he took that wrong advice. We can't now reschedule that work in either, owing to our workload and our diary. So we can't actually do the work anyway. So he's in a real pickle now. The message there is to take advice off the people that know and not the people that don't know. I know the title of this video was estate agents cost him £20,000. That's not true. Not really. You know, it's still his decision. He's just took the advice of the agent and used that as gospel. So huge mistake, huge learn for him as well. Wish him all the best, and it's just one of them that he's gonna have to swallow, put up with, and I don't know what the plan is for him. I wonder if you've made any mistakes like that on projects. I hope not. If you have, then we need to speak if you want to start making more profit from your refurbishment projects.